Hi guys, and welcome to another craft time with Miss Sarah. I'm going to be showing you today how to make a little cute turkey. And we're going to be using some materials that we haven't used before. We're going to be making something very similar to this turkey, but instead of this paper, we're going to be using some paint. But the basic design is pretty much the same. So for this, you're going to need some paint, and I have this acrylic paint quick drying here. It's soap and water cleanup, so make sure that you read the label if you are going out to get some paint for this craft, or if you happen to have some laying around, that's fine too. Today I'm going to be using a yellow color, a red color, and an orange color. So to put my paint, I'm going to have these 3 different plates, and this is a great way to use up your leftover Halloween party plates in case you had a Halloween party at your house. You're also going to need a craft roll, or more commonly known as a toilet paper tube, right? So you can use a craft roll. Now I'm not going to be coloring it. I'm going to be leaving it this plain brown color, but if you want to color it, you will need crayons or markers, something to color it with, okay? You're also going to need a paper plate. We're going to be cutting that in half, so you're going to need one of those, just a regular paper plate. And you're also going to need maybe a scrap of orange. You don't need a big piece of orange. I just found this little scrap, and that's going to work perfect. And also a scrap of red. You don't need a big piece of red either. And then I also am going to use some white paper. Now, if I didn't have my scraps of paper, I could actually just color a section red or color a section orange, because it really is going to be a very small piece that we need, okay? So you're going to also want some paper. And then, as usual, I want my pencil with a good eraser just in case, and a Sharpie or a dark marker of some kind, or a dark crayon will work just as well. And lastly, for our paint brushes today, we are not going to be using traditional paint brushes or sponges. We are going to be using this. Do you know what this is? Broccoli! And I'm going to show you what a great fun pattern broccoli can make. I just thought this was such a great idea, considering that it is Thanksgiving, and a lot of people might have some of this on their Thanksgiving table. So I do not recommend using cooked broccoli for this. You definitely want it fresh, and I also do not recommend that you eat it. After you use this, do not eat it. Go ahead and throw it away. So you really don't need a big part of it. You really just need 1 or 2 of the little floret pieces, okay? And these are going to be our paint brushes today. All right, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to go ahead and collect all of those materials, and I'll see you right back here. Also, don't forget some newspaper, something to protect the surface that you're working on, especially because we are using paint today. And I would also recommend an apron if you have it. Unfortunately, I left mine at home, so I'm going to have to be really super extra careful, because whenever you are working with paint, it will stain your clothes. It might clean up from the table with soap and water, but when you wash your clothes, it is going to be there forever, okay? So you want to make sure that you definitely have some newspaper and an apron to protect your clothes. All right, you guys, I'll see you in a few minutes, and we will get started on our craft. All right, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our paper plate here, and we're just going to fold it in half. Make a little bit of a crease along there. So you should have something that looks kind of like that. Make sure that you kind of pinch it. It doesn't have to be a super strong crease. You just definitely want that line or that crease in there. And the last item that I actually forgot to tell you about in the first segment is a good pair of scissors. So we're going to cut right along the crease that we just made in our plate. We don't need the whole plate. We just need the half of the plate. Perfect. Don't worry if it's not exactly perfect. Remember, we're not looking for perfection. We are just looking for uniqueness and character. Now, our plate has 2 sides. It has the side that's like this, and you would eat on this side, and then it has the back of the plate like this. When you see a turkey, the feathers are pointed toward the back of the turkey going around. So we're going to use the back side of the plate. So not the side that you would eat on, but the back side, okay? And that's going to be our surface for the paint. So we're going to leave this right here. And now we're going to go ahead and get out our 3 plates for my 3 different colors. And if you wanted to, you could put 3 colors on one plate. All right, so I'm gonna shake up my paint. And this paint actually belongs to Miss Cat. She was kind enough to let me borrow it. So you really don't need a lot for this craft, and I'm just gonna put a little bit, there we go, just a little bit there. I'm gonna get a little bit of the yellow. There's my orange, right? There's my yellow. La, 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 la. That looks so awesome. And last color, let's shake it up really good. And there is some red. Now this one is a little bit, it's running out on us, oh no! But we don't need a lot of red. It's really more of like a touch color. It's really gonna be sort of like a highlight, so that's okay. That's okay, we don't need a lot of red. All right, so I kind of wanna color my plate with the orange as sort of the base color. So I'm gonna grab one of my florets. It doesn't matter which one, but I'm gonna kind of pick the one that looks like it sort of has the bigger surface, and that's gonna be this one. So I'm actually think I'm gonna add just a little bit more orange, just to be safe. All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip it into the paint. Now I don't wanna push really hard. I just wanna kind of tap it, just tap it. So just barely. So you pick it up like that, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna hold it down and I'm just gonna press. And then I feel like I'm kind of running out, so I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more. You know, the thing that gets to you about this craft is the broccoli. It smells really, really good. So if you like broccoli, then this is definitely a good craft for you. So what I'm gonna do on this side is get a little bit more, and I think I'm gonna press it just a little bit around so we have kind of dark splotches, and then you can see that it makes kind of a, almost like a flick kind of design. Like did you ever take a paintbrush and kind of flick it at your canvas or at your paper, and it kind of makes this weird, fun kind of flick design. I really like the way that looks. I'm gonna get a little bit more. I'm just gonna kind of intersperse it. I kind of want some bunches of the dark right there in with the, like some kind of big bunches in with the lighter. So this is gonna be what I call my main color. And this one, I kind of want most of the surface of the plate to be covered in this. I'm gonna go all the way to the edge, and that's why the newspaper becomes really, really important, because I definitely don't want to get it on the table. Okay, so I'm gonna just use that, all the spots where my paint, so you can see I still have a little bit of paint on the bottom over here. So I'm gonna use that part and just kind of press it. Now I'm not gonna press and move and slide like I would with a paintbrush. I'm using it more like I would a sponge. And I'm just gonna kind of darken my paper with that. Okay, that is looking really pretty good to me. And I don't want my paper to lose its shape, so I'm just gonna gently push it. All right, there we go. All right, and I really think that looks pretty good. All right, so you should have something that looks kind of like that. It's kind of covered. Let's see if I can lift it and show you. It's kind of covered, kind of splotchy. Does not have to be perfect. That's the beauty of this. So that's one side. Now for the other color, I kind of want to intersperse some red, or some red. So because I already used one side of this, I'm going to go ahead and use this other side for my red, or whichever spot. You can kind of look at it. I have a really good spot right here, so I think I'm going to use that. I'm going to hold it very carefully because I don't want to get any of the other color on me. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of paint. I'm just going to kind of just barely tap it on there. And for this, you want to go real light. You have mostly the orange. This is what I call a highlight color. So that means that we're really just using it to kind of give just the whisper of this color. It absolutely does not have to be the main focus of this in any way. We just kind of want to have a little bit of this color. So maybe as you're looking at your plate, if you notice that you have some spots where there's like a lot of openness, maybe like a lot of white, like right here, I can just kind of tap it there, tap it there, tap it there, tap it there. You can kind of roll it a little like I'm doing too with your wrist, just to kind of give it that whisper of color. I really like the way that looks. Just kind of tap it, tap it, tap it. I'm gonna put a little along the edge too, because I really like the way that looks. Now remember that for this middle part, that's gonna be hidden a little bit by your craft tube, so you don't have to get quite as artsy with that. You definitely wanna focus your attention more to the top of the plate and this fan. So, but you can definitely color in on the sides here wherever you see a spot that could use it. So I kind of like that. That's just, you know, kind of the hint of that red, and I'm getting kind of a fun, like, sort of red-orange color because it's kind of mixing a little. And I actually kind of like that. That's actually kind of neat. Now, I started with my orange, which is my base color, and then I had the highlight of my red color, which I really like. Now, for the last piece, I'm going to use yellow, and I've kind of used most of the good surface on my broccoli, so I'm going to set that one aside. I'm going to go ahead and get a fresh piece. And with this one, because it is a highlight color, I don't want a lot of it. I just want a few little parts. And I've got a really good amount of the sprouts right here, so I want to make sure that I get that. So I'm just going to very gently press it. Okay, so I've got a good little amount there. I'm going to just kind of tap it on the plate a little so I've got it kind of down. And what I'm going to do with this yellow is ever so gently tap, 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 tap. Just, you can just kind of see that yellow just kind of playing, mixing in with that red and that orange. And if you feel like you need some more, you can get a little bit more. Just kind of tap it. Now again, you don't really want a lot because this is really like a highlight color. We're not expecting this to be like the main focus. You can put a little along the edge if you want. And you, again, you want to focus more of your attention along here. Just kind of wherever you see a big hole of white, anywhere that you think you could add a little extra color. And I really like that. That's such a great conglomeration, a mixture of some yellow. So just kind of wherever you feel like you can add some. I like to think of it like polka dots. Like if you were gonna polka dot it, that's kind of how you want it to look. Isn't that amazing? I just love this. This is coming out so great. All right. And there's my plate. And I love it with my broccoli. I love all those little, all of that texture. That's just so amazing. I love the texture and I love the colors. It's just so perfect. Now, if you wanted to, you could make it darker. You could put more orange on there. You could put more yellow on there. You could put more red on there. However you want to do it. It is really, really up to you and how you want to do it. I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the yellow because I really kind of like it and I just want to fill it in a few little places there. Just kind of get that little essence of it. And I'm just putting a very tiny little bit and I'm just kind of barely touching it. There. All right, so I feel like that really, really looks like some great holiday colors, right? So go ahead and stay tuned. I'm going to move my plates out of the way and my broccoli out of the way here. Go ahead and stay tuned, and while we wait for this to dry, I'm gonna set it over here and I'm gonna go ahead and read you a story. So go ahead and stay tuned and we'll wait for this. We're gonna wait a little bit for that to dry. All right, you guys, while we're waiting for our painted paper plate to dry, I thought we could go ahead and read a story. This one is How to Catch a Turkey. This one is written by Adam Wallace and Andy Elkerton. Love it. And they have a whole series of these, like How to Catch Santa, how to, oh my goodness, How to Catch a Unicorn. They have all kinds of really good ones. So this is How to Catch a Turkey. Here we are on Thanksgiving Day. It's that special time of year. Yes, I know I am a turkey. That much should be clear. So gather round, I have a tale, and it's really quite a story. What I tell you now is not a joke. It is my crowning glory. So the turkey's talking to us. It all began 1 year ago. I was at a school, you see. Play preparations were underway, but that didn't matter to me. Some kids walked by in silly clothes talking about the play. Looks to me like they were in Pilgrims. They were probably going to put on a play about the first Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. We'll even have a turkey on stage. It's perfect for Thanksgiving Day. Uh-oh. Does he look happy about that? Turkey? Stage? No way! No how! Had I really heard that right? I broke out of my pen and ran away with a case of bad stage fright. Oh no, the turkey is afraid. He's like, I'm not getting on that stage. I burst into the science room, knocked over flasks and beakers, and the cry of, "Catch that turkey!" boomed over the loudspeakers. Oh my goodness, the principal took a plunger to the face. So now more children joined the chase with catapults and food, but their goopy mashed potatoes weren't enough to keep me glued. I guess his fear was stronger than the mashed potatoes. Up next, there was a maze of books. Where's that maze of books, do you think? The library that stretched from wall to wall, but with a big hop and a mighty flap, I managed to escape it all. Wow, I don't know what I'd do if there was a turkey loose in the library today. I ducked past chairs and bags and desks. Now that was quite the trick. The kids thought they could stop me here, but I was much too quick. Look at him going. That is an amazing turkey. They might not be able to fly very well, but they can certainly run pretty fast. I ran outside to the jungle gym, thinking I could hide, but the recess yard was all tricked out. I'd have better luck inside. Looks to me like they set some traps for him, huh? That kind of looks like a big net made out of jump rope. Finally, the kids gave up, but the principal gave chase. My only hope of escaping her was keeping up my pace. He's got to keep going. He's got to keep running. I slid into the coach's room and crashed into a chair. I got tangled up in jerseys, but I won't get stuck in there. There he is. T for turkey. I ran into a curtain. There was nowhere else to go. I couldn't get past the principal, but the curtain led to the show. Oh no! Is it curtains for turkey? Let's see. My heart was racing. I started to sweat. I couldn't squawk or run. He's on stage, the very thing that he was afraid of. I took a deep breath. I can do this. Who knows? This might be fun. A kid stood up and pointed. Oh my gosh, he's so cute! He really is, a parent agreed, in his little mascot suit. Look at that. They think he's a mascot. I started to smile and even dance while the crowd continued to cheer. Those are some great moves, Turkey. I was filled with joy that I took the chance, and that's what started my mascot career! Wow! So now he's the school mascot. He's a symbol of the school. He's what they are. They're the Turkey Elementary School. Pretty cool. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone! Doesn't say what the name of their school is, but he's their mascot. That's pretty neat. Ooh, and he's running away through the pie. That's pumpkin pie, and that is my favorite Thanksgiving thing next to turkey. All right, guys, let's check on our paper plate. We'll see if it's dry, and I'll show you how to make the next part of the craft. All right, you guys, so this next part of the craft is going to involve our craft tube or our TP roll, okay? We want to draw some eyes, just like in this one, and we're going to need a triangle for his beak. And turkeys have this little thing sticking off the side of their beak and kind of hanging down one side, and that is called their wattle, okay? So we're gonna need to make that little piece. So that's how you can kind of tell that it's a turkey and not just like maybe a blue jay or a pheasant or something. Although I do think that pheasants might have a wattle too, and I think chickens sometimes do as well. A lot of those type of birds have a wattle. So we definitely want to make sure he has one so that, he doesn't feel like he's, being left out. We don't want him to feel that way. All right, so I'm going to start, though, by drawing some eyes on him. And we don't want to make our eyes really, really big, but it's really up to you. If you want to give him some big eyes, that's fine. If you want to give him little eyes, that's fine, too. Normally for this, I would use some of the googly eyes that you can buy at a craft store, the little plastic eyes that have the little black pupil inside, and you can kind of shake them up. I really like that. But I'm going to show you how to make your own eyes today. And basically, it's just circles. So we're going to draw 2 circles. And I'm going to make them kind of a good size here. And it's totally okay if they're not exactly the same. In fact, it's kind of better, I think. And if you don't like the way that your circles look, you can try again. And then just use the best looking one. I like that one and that one, I think. And then you're going to have another little circle for his pupils. And then what I like to do for this, kind of just angle it up, is use my dark marker. Whatever you have works great. Just outline it and then fill it in. And then outline it and then fill it in. Kind of perfect. All right. And then we're going to need our scissors. So we want to make sure we get our scissors out. And we're just going to cut out those eyes. So I'm going to start by just kind of cutting my paper this way so I can kind of have a smaller piece to work with. Make it just a little bit easier. Set that aside. And I'm just going to very carefully, as I cut, I'm going to turn the paper with my other hand at the same time. And I'm going to try to get it as close to that edge, the black edge of the marker, as I can, because I definitely want that black edge to show. But again, if you end up with a little bit of white, not a big deal. Remember that this is your turkey and he can look however you want. This is just my suggestion and how I'm doing my craft, but you can make him look however you want for your craft. All right, there's one eye. I'm going to cut out the next one. Oop, turning as I go. So I'm going to close the scissors and turn as I go, and that's how you cut in a circle. You just want to be really careful with your fingers and make sure that you are far enough away from where you're closing the scissors, because you definitely don't want to cut your fingers. So if you are little, younger, like maybe primary grades, you might want an adult or an older brother or sister to help you with this, okay? All right, so I've got that. Now, what else does my turkey need? What's this? A beak. We gotta give him a beak. So it's kind of cool that I have this piece of paper, because that is already a triangle at the bottom, isn't it? So maybe I can just kind of use that. I can just cut it straight across. So I've got that piece. Kind of like the way that looks, and then I can just cut it straight across again. And voila, I have myself a perfect little turkey beak. So I'm gonna set that right there. Pretty cool, huh? And the last thing I'm gonna need is just a little wattle. So I'm gonna kind of do the same thing that I did for the other one. I'm just gonna kind of cut a little triangle piece. And I don't want it quite that big, so I may just grab it from the edge and cut it a little bit smaller, like that. I think I'm gonna have mine just kind of smaller, sticking out the side. So when I put it on, I'm definitely gonna be sure to have it kind of sticking like that. Doesn't really matter. I could, if I wanted to, and I think I will, I could round off the edge. So instead of having it come to a point, I could kind of just round it off. Like that. But you don't have to do that. You can leave it in a triangle if you want. And that kind of looks a little bit better. All right? All right, so now let's take our toilet paper tube or our craft tube and get the eyes on there. All right, so I have some glue here. I'm gonna be using my glue stick. We'll get the craft tube ready here. And you can kind of turn it and see what side you think looks the best. Doesn't really matter where you put it. You just want to make sure that you pick the side that you feel good about. So you put some glue on it, and then you can stick your eyes on there. There's my one eye. Get some glue. You want to put just a little bit extra when you're doing the eyes because it is on kind of a curved surface, so you want to make sure that you kind of get a good smattering of glue on there, so to speak, and you want to really press it down. I've got my two eyes. Now let's see, I got to get his beak. Actually, I think I'm going to put the wattle on first. So I'm going to have that kind of sticking off to the side here. What you can do is pull up your glue, lift it up, and then just use that edge for your glue or for your wattle. I want to do it that way. Because the good thing about some of the glue sticks that you buy, they may look purple in the tube as you're lifting them, but they actually will dry clear. And I really, really like that. And then I'm gonna put my beak on. So I'm just gonna kind of cover that with a good little smattering of glue and stick my beak on. And it's okay if it covers the bottom of your eyes a little bit. In fact, it's better because the beak really sticks out forward from the eyes. So that's gonna actually look pretty good. All right. So I've got my beak on there with my wattle. There's my face. It looks so great. I love it. I love it. All right. Now, for our paper plate, we're gonna cut down here so that it actually, we need to cut on each side. And the easiest way to do that, believe it or not, is just to kind of squish it like that. So what I like to do is cut it down to about the start, probably down to, yeah, about the bottom of the beak. So where that bottom of the beak is where you wanna make that cut down to, okay? And I'm gonna go on the other side where I kind of creased it there, kind of squish it so I can kind of see, and then down to the bottom of the beak. So now we cut it on both sides. You can see that, and don't worry if it's not exactly even. That part doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you have a good cut there. Okay, you want to make sure that you've got a cut on each side. So now we've got our little turkey. We're going to take our paper plate. Ooh, and that is feeling really dry. That's awesome. And I'm just going to gently kind of push it. This is quick drying paint, so this one is already dry to the touch, which is great. And I'm just going to fix my plate so that it's bending back again. And I'm going to ever so gently kind of work it down that. And I like to get it on there, and then you can kind of pull it to the center. Ever so gently. All right. And there you go, it's your turkey! There, it's so great. And now this can be your little centerpiece. You can have it be whatever you want. You can stick it in the middle of the table if you wanted to, just for fun. You could even, in a black marker when it dries, write someone's name here. It can be a placeholder for everyone that's going to sit at your Thanksgiving table. There's lots of fun things you can do. Or, as always, you can just put it in the window or hang it up somewhere where your whole family can see it, or just set it in the middle of your table. You and your brothers and your sisters, if you have brothers and sisters and cousins, can make them and just set them up. It's a really fun decoration. If you guys happen to make one of these, please show me, right? If you don't happen to have broccoli to be able to use, you can use lots of other things. I found bubble wrap works really well. And if you don't have any of that, and maybe you don't have paint either, you could absolutely use pieces of colored paper. Maybe you could take your white paper and just color rows of yellow and orange and red, and then just kind of snip cut and put that all over here, right? But I really like the way that looks with paint. And if you want to, you can even cut it a little bit further down so that it sits a little bit further down in there. As I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking that might look a little bit better, but it's really up to you and how you want to design your turkey, all right? So thank you for watching this super fun craft with me, and I'm glad to be able to show you that broccoli is healthy for you, and it's also a really fun paintbrush. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you again next time for another fun craft or story. All right? Gobble, gobble, gobble! Happy Thanksgiving! Bye!